Okay, I'm live from the Nogales bus terminal, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about insignificance. Insignificance is the way that a warrior feels about themselves in the world. They are really no more than an ant. And by choosing to be an ant in a huge world, the warrior has let go of all the human compassions. Why do I say compassions? Because they're compartmentalized passions. In other words, the regular Joe, well, on Friday night, my compartmentalized passion, is I go out for date night. Saturday, I do some puttering around the yard. Saturday night, I get drunk with the boys. Sunday, and the Bible Belt, they go to church, and everywhere else, I don't know, maybe they get up and they go fishing. Monday, I'm back to work. I'm a mechanic. Tuesday, I'm a mechanic. Wednesday, I'm a mechanic. And Wednesday night, I play poker club. Thursday, I start getting ready for the weekend, so I usually go to the bar. I try not to get too drunk because I don't like getting hungover for Friday's work. But this is actually the story of what I was told happens at the big car manufacturing plants. The big car manufacturing plants in the old days, there was everything was done by manual labor, and I was told never buy a car that's manufactured on I think it was a Monday and a Friday. So Mondays because they're still hungover from the weekend, and Fridays because they start the party on Thursday. And I was also told that the alcoholism rates were so high at the big car companies. Um, People would go out for lunch. They go out to their cars and they'd have huge parking lots because they had so many workers. And some of them had side businesses where in the back of their pickup truck, they would have coolers and they would have cold beer. And they would sell cold beer at lunch hour to the other workers. So they would have, I don't know how many beers you could chow down at lunchtime. And then you'd go back to work all happy and giddy. It would help you get through the day. But as far as quality, I guess there was a lot of concerns on Mondays and Fridays. What else can we tell you about being the warrior? I'm going to tell you that to be a warrior, you don't drink booze. Now, it may be that some of these warrior type people do use other things. Maybe they might like to use. How many of you like to have a little bit of X, Y, or Z? In other words, a magic mushroom, cannabis. You pick the third one. The point of the matter is not so much booze because booze really dulls your mind. Really, really dulls your mind. Anyone that's ever tried to go and do any sports after they've had any booze, your coordination and timing is completely off. Um, it's no good. It's no good. So, if you're going to be a warrior, well, you're going to be the legend of Drunken Master that I think it was Jackie Chan did a long time ago. So avoid the booze. And then what about these XYZ drugs? Um, it's difficult because if you start with these things, then you become reliant on them. In other words, you're looking for it every day. It becomes like your go-to thing. So how about for getting you into the way that you might? It means sometimes these things are helpful. It's a double-edged sword. Once you start, the tolerance level builds up, and then you need more and more. And I think a lot of these things, it's very difficult to say because a lot of humans also have got pains and aches. And some of these things really help take the aches and pains away. And it's very difficult to live with chronic pains. And it seems like everyone has got chronic pains. Maybe there's some that don't. I don't know. It seems like a lot of people, their backs go out, and I don't know, different problems with digestion. It seems like there's a lot of issues. So why are we talking about being a warrior and being an ant? It's because we have to get away from living in these cities that we live in, jammed into condominium towers. And then there's nothing but condominium towers in the city. There's not even a little plot of grass. It's unbelievable. This is no way for humans to live. So we're going to have to dismantle the city. And where are we going to put the people? Most of the people are never going to leave the city, let's face it. So if you want to be a warrior, you can leave the city and go to a well, I'm in the Nogales bus terminal to go to, I was going to go to Mexico. The desert, I don't know. Where are you going to go? Everything is owned. The government owns all the land in the desert. I suppose you could see if you could join a Indian reservation or something and see if they'll let you join the tribe or something so that you can have free reign to go and travel around a large piece of land without having to keep paying people. This planet is so screwed up. But that's not a positivity, that's just an observation. But the point of the matter is, you have to be involved with spirit. And the average person doesn't even believe such a thing. So you have got to disconnect from boozy people and get inspiration. There are so many amazing books to inspire you. I have got so many amazing books, and I mean, I pick them up and I turn to a page at random, and there's something interesting in them. What else can I tell you? How are you going to get connected to spirit and have some fun? Well, it's going to be more and more the responsibility of spirit to direct you rather than you writing down a bucket list of sacred sites that you've got to go to. Because it may well be that Spirit doesn't want you to go to sacred sites. It may well be that sacred sites are not even part of your plan. It may well be that wherever you are is where you're supposed to be in the middle of some city with towering condominiums. We have to adapt. So, if we're not going to dismantle the cities and we're going to be warriors in the city, what does that look like? It's interesting for all of us too, because it doesn't seem to be romantic. In other words, when I look at these books, these ones, I love these books, okay? Carlos Castaneda, all of his shamanic sorcery books, they're so romantic because they've got all kinds of land to explore. Don Juan Matus used to take Carlos Castaneda way, way out into the desert, and then they'd go climb some mountains. Or they would go into Mexico and they would meet up with some people Don Juan Matus knew, but they were very, very small towns, and the houses that they met up in were, I don't know, 50 miles away from their neighbor. They were so isolated. It was so interesting. We don't have this kind of land. It's all owned. What kind of land do we have? Mostly, the sidewalks in the streets. The sidewalks in the streets are where you can go, other than your little tiny apartment or condominium. And as I said, there's very few parks, so you're looking at the sidewalks. It's going to be more and more hard to find people who want to be warriors, because being a warrior means you are doing something everyone else considers illogical. Everyone else is in for themselves. How is this going to profit me? In other words, am I going to get sex, money, or power, the big three, out of whatever you're teaching? Because it's all ego. A warrior is all about getting rid of ego and then seeing where the spirit brings him or her. Some people are complaining that the warrior in the city is a very boring job because there doesn't seem to be any great whoop-de-doo. That is a problem for everyone, whether you are in for sex, money, and power, or you are following the spirit, because this is a very bound world. We're bound up. It's like someone took yarn and just wrapped yarn around your body so much because there's so many limitations. We have a new apprentice, Clancy, who wants to speak. Go ahead, Clancy. Clancy is a new apprentice, and he is like a typical new apprentice. He wants action. He wants action, and he doesn't want to sit still. And he doesn't want to see the same thing over and over and over again. So what we teach new apprentices is, to the old way you were, it does appear that you have got the same sidewalks you walk on all the time. The difference is the warrior spends a lot more time with awareness, a lot more time looking to see where life puts your eyes, because that's the way it works when you're a warrior. You let go of your ego, and your ego is the one that set the alarm clock for 7:30 in the morning, and the ego is the one, when the alarm goes off, that forces you out of bed, into the shower, into your car, and off to work. What does the warrior do? The warrior waits, waits, and watches. Watching is a very important thing. We call it perching. It's like a bird that perches on a branch in a tree and is up there for hours. What is the bird doing? Well, if you're going to be the bird, you're watching. You spend incredible amounts of time watching. It looks like it's the same, if it's a city bird, it's the same street they're looking at. They're one tree and they're looking at the same street. Can you be like that bird? You're going to have to be if you're going to be a warrior. Now, we often walk around or we get in the car and drive around and we watch to see where the eyes go. Because we have let go of us looking so much that now the body looks for us. And we say life itself or the spirit is the one that drives the car and decides what we're going to see and what music we're going to hear, or we put the windows down and we listen for animal noises or someone hitting the accelerator in a big truck and making a huge vroom. We listen to all these things, and a lot of the things that we look at, we are puzzled. 2 weeks ago, we saw a sign for a retail store, and it was just a quick look. And then ever since then, we've been wondering, why was our attention drawn to this? Last night, it was easily 2 weeks later, we met someone who said, "Oh, I was working at this store," and it was that store. So the connections that you make between, a little flash, it was, like half a second seeing a sign, and 2 weeks later meeting someone from that store, sometimes that's what it takes. So, anyways, all of this information goes into your personal database of things you've seen. And what are we doing? We're watching for, what are we watching for? We're trying sometimes to put together a story to see if there's a story being told. Sometimes it's just like a check off, it's like, we saw this sign and we met somebody from there. What does it mean? Well, and talking to this person, we got some little bits of information. Are we trying to go and put a huge story together? Maybe, maybe not. We don't have an agenda. So the difference between the sex, money, power, egoic people are, they all have an agenda to get sex, money, or power. The warrior doesn't have an agenda. So it is a very different way of life. What is the benefit of being a warrior? Well, in this book, let's see, we're on page 206. It says something about stalking. So what is stalking? It's not like socks for your feet. Stalking is in like what a jaguar does in the, on the, when it's looking for prey, it's stalking its prey. So it says the art of stalking is learning all the quirks of your disguise and learning them so well that no one will know you are disguised. For that, you need to be ruthless, cunning, patient, and sweet. Ruthlessness should not be harshness. Cunning should not be cruelty. Patience should not be negligence, and sweetness should not be foolishness. Well, that sounds like a much nicer type of person than what we typically meet. Someone who is an intelligent person but has no agenda to go and screw you over. Wouldn't that be nice if we were all like that? I can't tell you where to become a warrior other than right where you are right now. How are you going to do it? You just have to let go of your agenda book. If your agenda book says you're going to work tomorrow, maybe you're going to send an email to your boss and say, sorry, I'm taking my vacation. I have to take it right now. Something's come up, and leave it completely blank. You don't have to give them any details. I'm going on vacation. And then at the end of the vacation, maybe you send another email to your boss and said, I'm resigning. So if you've got lots and lots of monthly recurring bills, and you don't have any money coming in, you're going to have to. What can you do? Stuart Wilde, the metaphysical writer, had this issue. He had a jeans store in London, England. And finally, well, I don't know, something from Spirit said, it's time to go, Stewie. And Stewie said, what do you mean, bro? And Spirit said, call a cab. Cab arrived. Spirit said, you're going to the airport. Stewie went to the airport. And Spirit said, go over to the counter and buy a plane ticket. And he got on the plane, and away he went. So what about all the bills? He tells the story. He didn't worry about the bills. In other words, he didn't have anyone go collect his mail and forward his mail with all his bills. He just walked out. He left the store there and all the bills and all the obligations, and he just left it. And he got on the plane and he took off, and he followed Spirit wherever Spirit led him. Some other people, modern day people, might say, you've got like manic depressive or something. You're having a mania spell. This is what you face when you decide to go in a different direction than the crowd. People in the crowd that know you are going to say, are you okay? Are you okay? You don't look okay to me. You're not joining us at the work tomorrow. How are you going to be looked after? Well, Stewie Wilde made out fine. It's a different way to be. Some people say maybe it's an ancient way to be. Free. People laugh because you never know how Spirit is going to set it up for you. Some people end up, I don't know, it's different for everyone. It's different for everyone. No one knows how the teacher of Carlos Castaneda, he was about 69 years old when Castaneda was, I don't know, 22. And he never talks about how Don Juan Matus, his benefactor, supported himself. Never really talks about it. Sometimes he says, well, you know, there's a house out here, way out, and never really says whether it's Don Juan Matus's house or community property or what. What is the benefit to becoming a warrior? You're going to take a pause. The pause button on my DVD player, right there. You're going to take a pause because it's time for a break. The next point is we're going to talk about intention. Now, for an ego-driven human who's interested in sex, money, and power, your intention is to get more sex, more money, and more power. But if you remove those egoic needs and you become the warrior, then what happens with intention? It's not a personal intention anymore. The intention is, um, some people want to say, is it the intention of the spirit? Yes. So is intent and spirit the same thing or two different things? Let's say intention is one aspect of the spirit. Sometimes Don Juan Matus would look for an omen because he was looking to see. He was looking to see, and he would look for quite a long time to see if he got an omen. How would he know if he got an omen? Um, I think he had, over his lifetime, enough experience to know when something was significant. Yesterday, when I was walking down a street, there was a huge murder of crows. A murder of crows is a flock of crows. Is that significant? For me, yes. For someone else, doesn't mean anything. Crows are crows. People see them all the time. But when I saw them doing a lot of noise and flying from tree to tree in a group, it was something I would note. I wasn't looking for an omen. But if I was looking for an omen and that happened, I would say, that could be my omen. How are you going to know what these omens are? Well, I told you in a long time ago lecture to go into your local library and take out your finger, point it, and then move your feet. And follow your finger. You know, if your finger goes this way and that way and this way and that way, see where, just keep pushing on your finger. Keep walking and push on your finger and see where your finger goes. See if it goes to a book for you. See if it goes and takes you out the other door and takes you out of the library and down the street. There are no presuppositions as to where your finger and finger as a pointer is going to go. And that's why you're not an ego, because you are now following the mystery of it all. Some people might say the unknown. The unknown mystery. That is what you were doing. What's the point of it all? You're being unique. You are being iconoclastic. In other words, you are not somebody they can stick into a box. They never know where you're going to show up or when. Kind of hard to have a regular job doing that. But maybe Spirit will give you something to do as a job. Maybe you'll find yourself walking in to an ice cream parlor and saying, I'm here because I'm supposed to be making ice cream cones. You don't know. Makes it more interesting. And you don't know how long you're going to be making ice cream cones for. An hour, a day, 6 months, 3 years? Because you have let go of your ego. And the ego is all about security. I need security. I need to know that what I'm going to be doing every day for the next, well, all next week and the following weeks and the following years, I need to know. It has to be all in my book what I'm going to be doing. I have to pre-plan my vacation, where I'm going, who I'm going with, where I'm going to be staying, and where I'm going to be eating dinner when I'm there. Everything has got to be pre-planned. Then I know where I'm going to be That is the ego's way. The ego has to have it all planned. No room for changes. Egos get very upset when something happens and there are changes made. They hate it more than anything else. That's your talk on being a warrior. Maybe we'll make some more for you.